Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to all the books I've read in February and January. So far this year I have been on a huge reading grind with reading 18 books, and I wanted to update you all. I feel like it's been so long since we've had any type of book video, so I thought I would just go ahead and give you a little 2-month reading wrap up because we've read a lot of books and I want to show you and just give you all some recommendations. I've read some really good books and some not so really good books. I want you to hear what's good versus what's bad. Just so you know how I like to read books. So I like to read no spice, clean, simple, fast books. I love romance, fantasy, and mystery. Right now I've been on a big thriller grind, so you will see that phase a lot. I also have been huge into my Kindle. I've yet to read an actual physical book this year. I've read all of it on my Kindle or my iPad because I also love reading on my iPad. So I have all my notes right here. So if you see me looking down, they're just on my iPad. We are starting off the year strong with an Abby Jimenez book. I think that's how you say it. Life's Too Short. It's actually third in her little interconnected standalone series, The Friend Zone. So I actually have not read the other two books. I read number 3 first, but I really loved Life Too Short. So it's basically about this girl, and she has this apartment, and all of a sudden she has to take care of her sister's baby, and the guy next door is not a fan, and then he comes over one night, starts taking care of the baby, and they start taking care of each other, and they learn a lot about each other. Our main character actually struggles with this sickness that is really aggressive, and it can be a lot. So it is really cool book. I really liked it. I rated it 3 stars. I feel like it was a little bit too back and forth. I feel like we could have been a little bit less drawn out. It could have been a little bit shorter. Like, I get it was kind of a slow burn, but let me tell you, it was a slow burn. But overall, it was pretty good. I loved it. And then my next book I actually read through Audible was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Such a good book. Anything Emily Henry writes, automatic chef's kiss. I rated it 5 stars. We have 2 characters. They work in the publishing world in New York, and they're used to that busy hustle and bustle grind. And then our main girl character, she goes with her sister to a small little town in South Carolina, and she runs into her arch nemesis. And you know, Emily Henry is more focused than just romance. It focuses on sisterhood and what it's like to grow up. It focuses on so much. It made me love New York. The way she described growing up in New York makes me want to live in New York. So I really love this book. Emily Henry can make a pickle sound appetizing. She does so well at things. Alright, and then our next read was Out of the Wood by Hannah Bonham Young. It was actually the number 2 in the Out on a Limb series. I really liked Out on a Limb. This book, not so much. I just feel like it was kind of thrown together kind of quickly just because the other one did so well and they wanted, put the other characters, and the other couple was in there so much. It almost felt like just write a second book about them. It was good. It focuses on this couple. They had been together, they had been married, and they had some marital trouble, so they went on this retreat to try to solve them. Stuff happens. There's injuries. There's some weird people. It was a cute little story, but again, I just felt like we didn't need a second book, or we should have done a second book on the couple because they mentioned the other couple so much. But it was really cool to see them solve lots of their marital problems, because I had been looking for a book about marriage because I had read this really good book in December. It's Date Night in December or something. It was such a random book. It was a Christmas book. I rated it 5 stars. I cried. That book was so good. It was so beautiful. I love a book about a married couple or an engaged couple fixing their relationship. So my camera died and I don't have a battery, so now I'm sorry about the quality change. So now we're getting into where I got into a little bit of a thriller phase. So I read a lot of Frida McFadden. If you don't like her, you can leave, because I think she writes some good thrillers that get you out of the slump and that does what they need to do. I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden, which was so good. It focuses on this main character. Her and her son moved back to their hometown after she had experienced some wild stuff in her childhood. She moves back, get a job at this jail, and some people from her past keep showing up. Trusts and doesn't trust the wrong people, and it was good. I rated it 4 stars. Thriller, like, I don't know if a thriller could ever be 5 stars for me. Like, I do love thrillers, but sometimes it's like I'm too scared or I'm not too into it. Like, it was good though. I liked it. It did what it needed to do. It scared me. It got me to read it quickly. Loved it. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I'd been reading that for a hot minute. I'd been reading that for a little bit over 10 days. I've been listening to that on audiobook. So I started the Throne of Glass series and I really liked it. I feel like I don't want to explain it because I went into it totally blind, and I love that. I love just the fantasy aspect. I love the Sarah J. Maas world. I read ACOTAR, so this was a really good addition to everything. And then, if you know, I'm doing 75 Holy, where I'm completing different habits throughout my day, and one of my habits is to read 10 pages of a Christian book every day. I used to be really good about reading Christian books, and I think they're a great way to understand the Bible better and understand different Christian concepts. So I wanted to read more of that. So this is actually a physical book I read, which I lied about not reading one. I read one this year, and so this is the Master Plan of Evangelism by Robert E. Coleman. They actually gave this to us in proof. I read it in no time. It's about evangelism, how to evangelize, where it's from, what it does, and the importance of it, and I really like that. I want to get better at evangelizing and just talking to people about Jesus, so this book was a great place to start. I didn't rate it. I don't rate any like nonfiction book. The comment I wrote, because I'm trying to write a comment about every single book on Goodreads, so follow me on Goodreads. And I said, good book about living out God's will. And then we picked right back up into our thriller. So we read Ward D by Freida McFadden. And this, I remember, it took me like a hot minute to get through. 3 days. It just felt like forever. Like when you're reading a thriller, there's so many details because you're like meeting the character, finding out the mystery, solving the mystery. And like there's like so much you have to dive into, I feel. But it's Ward D. Basically, this med student, she is scheduled to work in this hospital and she gets put in the psychiatric ward. It's a scary night. After that, I just wanted to read something quick, something like that I could just go through really quickly. So I read The Gift by Freida McFadden, which is like a 70-page short story, like Christmas story by Freida McFadden. I rated it 2 stars. I didn't like it. It was weird. It was really strange. I'm not gonna even explain it. Don't read it. On audiobook, I read Death Row by Freida McFadden, which is again another short story. I think it was a little bit longer than The Gift, and that one was really good. Lady, she gets put on death row for killing her husband, but she's convinced she didn't do it. It was really good. It was kind of sad, honestly. Like the ending kind of was like, I think it's free on Audible if you have a Kindle subscription, because it's like something, all of Freida McFadden's books are on Kindle Unlimited, if you didn't know that. So that's why I read so many of her books, and then I read The Intruder by Freida McFadden, which is one of her new releases that came out in November. This lady churns out books like no time, and I'm trying to read them. I'm actually wanting to read all of her, because why not? I have Emily Henry that I'm trying to read all her books, and I have her that I'm trying to read all her books, and I want to read all of Lynn Painter's too. So like 3 authors I'm trying to focus on right now. So this one was pretty good. It was kind of slow. Basically, this lady, she got fired from teaching, so she moves out into the country, secluded by herself. She had some issues, and then this girl shows up, and she wants to take care of her because she's a teacher, and secrets get revealed. And there's always, usually Freida McFadden's books always has a dual point of view, and you're trying to figure out what point of view that is, and that's my favorite thing to guess. This one, I had no clue. I was inspired by seeing the Housemaid movie, because I had read the first book back in like 24, and I was like, I want to read the rest of the Housemaid. So I read The Housemaid's Secret, which is Housemaid book number 2. I rated it 2 stars. I just thought it was boring. Kind of thought it was unnecessary. I liked the continuation of her cleaning the houses, but other than that, it was just like, I'm done with it. I was really trying to get through that book because it was kind of rough. And then there was another short story, The Housemaid's Wedding. It's like a 2.5. It focuses on Millie's wedding, and it was cute. There was still a little mystery aspect to it. It was cute. 2 stars. No big deal. And then I read The Housemaid is Watching, which is the 3rd and final book in the Housemaid series, and wow, it is like set in like 20 to 30 years after the first Housemaid book. It was so good. It focuses on Millie's family and them moving into a new house and their weird, crazy neighbors. This book also felt like it was like a slow burn, but like once it hit, it was like shocking. And then I read The Crown of Midnight, which is Throne of Glass number 2, again on Audible. I love listening to audiobook in the gym. That is like my all-time favorite thing to do. So I read this, and I rated it 4 stars, and it just focuses on more of the Throne of Glass, and it's so good. The other Christian book I read was Good Boundaries and Goodbye. I really like the book as well. It just talked about toxic relationship, that you can't be everyone, that you are to be God's child, and that you need to focus on your relationship with Him and how you could best be that for others, and you can't be the number one person for everyone. And I really liked it, and talked about how boundaries, if you set up a boundary, and even if someone like guilts you into it, you know you need to set up this boundary. Like, you need to talk to God with your boundaries, not talk to others with them. And then speaking of trying to read all of Emily Henry's book, I read When the Sky Fell on Splendor. This was another audiobook I listened to, and it follows just like kids who are like into like ghosts and stuff, and they hunt ghosts, and they live in this small town and all the secrets of the small town. It was cute. It was definitely different than any other Emily Henry book down on her backlist, but I liked it. It had like a paranormal aspect to it. It was cool, it was different. I liked it. 3 stars. I read such a good book. I know this book gets so many mixed opinions. I relate to it personally, and that is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I love her. Love her book. Another author I want to read all her books from. I just want to read all the books in the world. This girl, she lives in Minnesota, and she's moving back to California because her mom struggles with Alzheimer's, and her whole family is trying to pitch in to take care of her mom. But she meets this really great guy, and so they do long distance and all this stuff. But I really like the romance and, you know, sticking through, choosing that family, even though you know the road is going to be tough and it's not an easy road. But the guy, he chose to stick with her, and I also really liked it, and it made me cry because my family, we have a history of Alzheimer's, so it really hit home to me. So it was just a really personal book that I loved. It talking about memories and how maybe you don't know every memory, but you could feel like you know someone loves you even if you can't remember it all. You know the feeling, and I just really love that, and it really hit home to me. May have shed a few tears. It was just a really beautiful book, and you know, I try not to think about that being a thing in my family, but it was almost comforting, so I really liked that book. Then I read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. It was so good. Boyfriend in New York City, and there's a lot of obstacles in her way to do that. The book I read was actually another Christian book. It was How to Pray, A Simple Guide for Normal People by Pete Greig. I really like this book. He has a ministry that's like 24/7 prayer, I believe, and he was just talking about how simple prayer is, and that prayer is important and we need to pray more. I really like that. He really broke down prayer and like broke down the Lord's Prayer and how important that is. I really like that. I loved all the books I read in January and February. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you are having such a good start to the year and such a good reading year. Comment down any book recs you have, because I would love to hear them. I'm always in the mood to read. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, I love you, but most importantly, Jesus loves you.